Hey, hey, hey. Happy days. Happy days. How are you? How are you? Hashtag Health Wealth Life Day. I don't even know what day it is. 75, maybe 76. Either way, happy days. What's happened? What have you learned today? What's the thing you've learned? Maybe you're going to pop that in the comment box. Maybe you're just going to think it over in your mind. Either way, it's good. Mull it over. Share it. Share what you learned. That's one of the best ways to solidify it in your mind. Adriana, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you had a good day. What's one thing that you've learned today? What's one thing that stands out for you? Run it through your mind again. Let's solidify that in the brain. And if you share it, explain it to me, explain it to someone, it locks it into your brain even more. So what's the number one thing you've learned from Health Wealth Life? What have you picked up? I'm really interested to hear that. What you've got to say. Is it lifestyle, is it exercise, nutrition, supplementation? I'm always asking that question to build up who's picking up what and what I'm giving most out. Am I getting the balance right? And are we stacking those solutions? That's the real idea. And what do you want to learn next? What's the thing that you want to focus on next? You know, is it about content creation for your blog? Is it about creating a new recipe? Is it finding new healthy meals to eat? Is it new exercises? Is it a new program? Is it a new supplement that you want to try? What is it? What is it? What's the next thing you want to learn? Or something that I've not talked about or mentioned? Pop it in the comment box below. I will reply, I promise. So yesterday we talked about getting over when you've not felt like exercising. We've all been through it, and I stacked a number of solutions there, and we had a good conversation on through Facebook, lots of people involved, and come up with lots of different angles that people were taking to get over that. So have a look at that video. It was one from yesterday if you want to check that out, and if you want to stack some solutions for yourself around when you don't want to exercise, what can you do? What's some of the things you can do? Peds, how are you, mate? You free to talk after this? Maybe we could talk a bit later. Today we're talking about creating a cosmic shift. Cosmic shift in what? So how do we project? How do we get the lifestyle we want? So I was talking earlier on, Peds, you was in the conversation. We said, you know, how can you, Kate, welcome aboard. And I was saying, you know, how can you get fitter and healthier? And Peds, you were saying like leave the UK. So that's on your mind. You're focusing about that. So if you're focusing on that, if your mind is on that, you're going to be seeing things that you think, I don't like it here. I don't like it here. I don't like it here. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that, because that's where your brain is focused. And whatever we focus on is what we bring about. Karen, good to see you. So for instance, Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. We are what we repeatedly do. So we've talked a lot about how the best way to lead the brain. And when we can lead the brain, then we can lead the brain into the gym, and we can lead the body, right? So we can get ourselves in physical shape, good in mental shape and emotional shape. So questions are really powerful and important, and that's what we talked about a lot. So I'm going to just take a slightly different spin on it today and add to that, stack another solution in there, right? So Aristotle said we are what we repeatedly do. So if we're thinking negatively about something, like for instance, I don't want to be here, then that's what our brain will be looking for, and that's what we will see more and more of. So you know, actually studies, lots of psychological studies have shown that 95% of everything we do is learned. So what does that mean? That means that, one, we learned it, but that means surely we can learn another way. We can rewire it. If we're not quite happy with exact situation, how we feel, is our vibe, is our energy right? Can we generate enough energy and vitality into what we're doing in our conversations and make them stick? Remember, we talked about how to master something. So emotion, bringing emotion was number 2 to it, because it makes it stick in your mind. Right? So studies show that 95% of our behavior is learnt. 95%. So therefore, we can affect that. If it's learnt, then we can unlearn it, or we can reshape it. Might not be easy. Might take a while. They say 21 days to break a habit or to set a new habit. Who knows if that's true? Yeah, we are what we repeatedly do. So if we repeatedly do something that's positive, that takes us in a direction towards our goals, then that's obviously going to have a positive impact on our lives over time. And it might not show in a week or a month or even a year sometimes. It might take that long, but you need to just reassess that is the right thing to do. I'm staying happy, I'm staying positive, I'm focusing on my goal, and stick until it starts to shift. We might spend 20, 30 years doing it one way. It's going to take a little while, right? So for every, what was the thing? For every year you've been out of shape, this is a health related one. Every year you've been out of shape, it's going to take you at least 1 month to take that level. So if you've been out of shape for 3 years, it's going to take you at least 3 months to start creating a shift and get yourself into some kind of good shape again. So that there's a real lag on it. It takes a long time, but you've got to stick with it. Now, Tony Robbins talks about it from this angle. He says that success in business, success with your body, success with emotions, success with your relationships, success with anything is 80% psychological and 20% physical. So if we can get into the psychology behind what we're doing and just sprinkle in, massage in, work in some little tips and tricks, stack a couple of solutions in there, then we stand a real good chance of getting more of an experience of what we want and less of what we don't want. So an example of how to create a shift. How do we create this shift in our life? So for instance, if we want to create a better business, if we want to create a better body, how do we create that shift? And one way is we need to lead the brain. And what we repeatedly do is that's what we become, right? So let's repeatedly focus on what we want. And the way we do that is, let's take, I'll give you a clear example. So journaling or logging. So on your phone, or if you have a piece of paper or a pad with you the whole time, if you say, right, I want to transform my body, write down everything related to your body. So that would be everything you eat. So you've got to write it down, everything you eat. And then you walked, yeah? So you walk down the stairs, you write that down. Everything related to movement and everything related to food, because they're intrinsically linked, right? So everything that's related to your body and your health and that could possibly transform you in a positive way or in a negative way, you start logging it. So you become super conscious of it. I'll give you another example of how this happens. You go to buy a car. We've all had this one, right? You're thinking about this car. You've not seen many around. You go and you buy your car, and then there's loads of them all around, right? Is it real that they just appeared, or were they always there? And what happened was your brain is now looking for them, and they're actually seeing it. So your brain and your eyes can only see what you know is there, or what you've questioned to be there, or what you've told it to look for. So if we have a background thought of I don't like it here, then we're looking for, the brain's going, I don't like it here, let's find reasons that match that thought pattern. So if we're doing the opposite, I'm having a body transformation and we're logging everything, we'll start noticing that doesn't quite match, that shouldn't go in my day because I'm on a body transformation. So journaling, you must write everything down. So simple, by bringing our consciousness to it, we bring it about. Bring your consciousness to it, you bring it about. So if it's money, if it's body, if it's finances, whatever it is, emotions, relationships, write it all down. Start writing it down, put it in your phone or put it in a journal, and keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop, and then you become more and more conscious and more, and then you start to guide yourself on the questions on what you really want, and that is what really can affect long term. Sarah, how are you? Hope you had a good day. So a car's a good example, and rather than being led by our habits, rather than just being just at the whim of everything. So there's a guy, imagine you're standing and you see a guy standing by the road and another guy on a horse, and he's motoring, and he's on the horse. As he goes past, the guy standing by the road says, hey, where you going? And the guy on the horse says, I don't know, ask the horse. Yeah, so that's what's happening with a lot of us, because we're just running habitual learned behaviors and we're not really thinking about it. And most of the time, for most people, it's not taking us where we want to go. Some of us are saying, look, they could have been better. Few things could have happened better. But that is life. But can we affect that? That's the question today. Can we affect, how much can we affect our lives and the direction of our lives and the happiness that we have in our lives every day? I've had a great day, thanks. I hope you have too. Yes, amazing day. Thank you. It was a very good day. So lead with questions. So be sure, be clear about the questions you're asking yourself. You know, so for instance, rather than having a thought, I don't want to be here, because I could have that thought sometimes. I really want to have some more sun. It's been a couple of nice days recently, and I think, wow, I want more of that. I'd like to really wake up with that, and I'd like to wake up by the beach and by the sea and all of that as well. I really would, but you know, I could think, instead of doing that and going through my brain going, oh, it's gone grey again, it's raining, or people aren't that happy, I'm going to say, how much fun can I have today? Oh, this place is really cool. Oh, I got to eat an amazing meal. Hey, that person was really happy. I really enjoyed that conversation with that person. Focus on what the good things. Focus on that. Focus on questions. So where can I find where can I find a perfect partner? But then you need to be clear on who or what your partner is, right? I've had this conversation on social media today as well because it come up in something else. But we need clarity, and we don't clarify, most of us. We just kind of have it rumbling around in our head, and we really need to clarify it. Write it down in detail. And writing it has been shown, it solidifies it in your brain, it makes it more physical, it makes it real. So we need to write it down. So someone asked, I won't say who it was anyway, but it's in the conversations. One sec. It's in the conversations from today that someone said, looking for a good partner. So I said, like, write down all the attributes that you want. Have you done that? I don't think they've done it yet. So they need to write down 5, maybe 15, maybe they got 20 or 100 attributes, but get them all down, all the things they want. That's the perfect person. Then the brain can focus on it. And only then can it start to see that person. Before that point, they might have been thinking, I've had a few bad experiences. There's no one out there like that. There's no one out there like that. There's no one out there. And there is, right? There's a perfect person out there for everyone, I believe. But if you start believing there isn't, then that's what your brain will start seeing. There's no one good enough for, there's no one who fits what I want. And that's what your brain, that's it, that's true. They don't fit, they don't fit, they don't fit. And it's the same with everything in our lives. Food, our bodies, our businesses, everything. Now, it's just about being conscious. So journal it. That is the shift, that you can create a shift today. Start being conscious of it. Conscious competence, bring emotion, repeat. That's how we master it, right? Conscious competence, bring emotion, repeat. Now what we do on bringing that conscious competence is journaling. So we either write it down in a book or a piece of paper that you have on you all the time, and you do that all the way through the day, every day, don't stop for 2 weeks, or on your phone. You got a phone, notes, boom, type it in. Build that note up, big, strong, be conscious, really conscious. And then over time, you can start to tweak that and put in questions that direct you and lead you in the right direction. Ask your brain the questions that are going to lead you in the direction you're going to go. So if you think about a question and think, if I answer that question, I'll consciously answer it now, is that going to take me closer to the goal that I want to achieve? Or is that actually the opposite of what I want? Think about that. So don't forget what... write everything down. Yeah, whether it's good or whether it's bad, write it all down, and you'll become clear about your underlying thought patterns and your choices throughout the day. You know, talking about the guy on the horse, where you going, mate? Don't know, ask the horse. Most of us, is that happening? Is that habitual happening, that the horse is just off, it's bolted, and we're going with it? Is that happening to some of us? I think we sabotage ourselves sometimes that day, on some days, and that happens with exercise, and that's what we talked about recently. Was one of the questions I popped up. You know, if you don't feel like exercising, that is what could be going on. Slight sabotage, slight going off, I'm never going to get the body I want, and then boom, we're off on that one. The horse was bolted and we're like, we're going along for the ride, yeah? So Aristotle said, whatever, wherever we repeatedly do is what we become. And so think about that. So decision in Latin means to cut off. And that means to cut off from every other option that doesn't agree with your decision. So if your decision is, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life, I'm going to weigh X amount, and I'm going to have X amount body fat, and I'm going to have this physical image, boom, and you create that. And if that doesn't match, Ruth, good that you joined again, good to see you. So decision means to cut off in Latin, to cut off from every other option that doesn't match what you're choosing. So make that decision and write it down, everything. So if the decision is a body transformation, you write title, body transformation, you write down everything related to your body, food, water, beverages, movement. You could start to write, I would match in thoughts as well, but that gets big. So just write down all the movements on all your foods. Bang, 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 bang. Keep writing that down, and you'll see something. You'll show yourself something, and you'll eventually see, whoa, okay, that's where I'm sabotaging. You do that for 2 weeks, guarantee you something will show up. Okay, try it out for anything you want to fix, anything you want to improve. Choose a priority, just choose one thing, and then work on that for 2 weeks. Pop it in your phone, pop it in a diary or a piece of paper, whatever, and just start writing every day, every day. Don't forget everything. I did 10 squats, I went to the gym for an hour, I walked up and down the stairs, blah, blah, blah. Sue, how are you? So make that decision, journal it. That's how we create that cosmic shift, that massive shift towards more goodness. Remember when you've become aware of a car that you like, and then all of a sudden you see loads of them. That's what we're looking for. We're creating the desire, the decision in our brains of what we want, And that's where our brain will keep looking for the answers to bring us closer to that. And it has to be a residual drip, 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 drip. Otherwise, if we had instant, then we'd think something negative which flies through our minds all the time. It happens to all of us. We're human, and bad stuff would happen. Like Ghostbusters, when he thought of the Marshmallow Man. That's a good example. So like it popped in, he was like, oh no, I've thought about the Marshmallow Man. And then it comes to destroy the city. Oh, cool. Sarah, that's good to hear. Thank you for saying that. So if I am on point, like Sarah says, please give me a thumbs up and give me a share. Help me get this message out. If you think this has helped you in any way, or put an idea in your mind that could help you, or anyone you know, give me a share. I really appreciate it. And it also lets me know that I'm on point, as you said, Sarah, so kindly. All right, so just to finish off, any questions, pop them in the comment box. I will reply, I promise. We'll get back to all of you. And we'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Going over another distinction, another lesson, another insight, and stacking another solution, because we're going to stack solutions all year round. So join me for that. Got an event coming up Saturday 25th of March. It's a free event, Chalk Farm. If you're interested in that type of event, I'll give you some more details. I've also got a online training course coming up end of April, 7-week body transformation. If you're interested in that, type 7WBT and I'll get some information over across to you. And if you're interested in, thanks Kate, he's downstairs crying actually. I can hear him, the little man, he's having his dinner. So if you're interested in finding this is what I call a shotgun approach. So if you shotgun something, it's like, it's your most bang for your buck. What is the one thing you could do? It takes 30 seconds a day that could have the most impact on you positively. And if you're interested in that, type 30 seconds and I'll get you some information about that across. It's so simple. And in terms of an investment, it's like £1.15p a day. £1.15p a day. We'd spend that on a coffee, no problem. And it's not coffee, it's something else. So if you're interested in that, type 30 seconds and I'll get some information to you about that. Amazing. Right, how do we create that shift? That last thing, which I always want to finish with now, remind me before I shoot off and forget. Just type in the box for me one thing that you learnt from the video today. Just type in the box for me something, a nugget of information, something that stood out to you. Type it in the box for me so I know that I gave you something and we can rehash and go over that information and just solidify it in our minds. We need to repeat things. We need to repeat things over in our brain. So type in the box for me something that you got from this video. One thing or more, your choice. Thank you for doing that. Okay, have an amazing evening or morning or day wherever you are in the world or whenever you're watching this video. I hope to see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll have some fun, I promise. And remember, happy is a skill that you can learn, and this is a better way to bring out your personal best. Let's go get some health wealth. Let's take the world with us, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Take great care.